Hello, there's Black Vader or I am Michael. It all depends on who you're talking to. But I'm gonna go into the code right now. Last time I went over the racial white sacrifice confusion, as in if something bad happens to white people and we claim that there's racism, um, people are gonna say it's not racism because bad things happen to everybody. Um, to go over that, it's just like sometimes this in the business of white supremacy, there's percentages and stuff, just like in all cases. You're gonna take L's and you're gonna take W's, but as long as you got the big W, it's all right to take L's. Long story short, that's white sacrifice confusion. Now I'm gonna be going into the law and compensation. I'm just gonna be reading short this time. Little goes a long way. Thank you guys for being with me as I read through this and continue to be consistent little by little. I've been kind of getting over the bug, but I don't feel worse as I did before, so I'm growing. But let's get into it. The law and compensation, three basic steps towards racial subjugation, compensation. One, ask for what should be given. Two, accept what is granted. Three, compensate for the difference between what is asked for and what is granted. Explanation. Ask what it should be given. Also, like, comment, subscribe my videos and all that other stuff. This means that non-white people should ask white supremacists to reveal truth, not just facts, and to produce justice and correctness in all things, at all times, in all areas of activity. Those white people who practice white supremacy racism have established and maintained the practice through falsehood, non-justice, and incorrectness. Therefore, the revelation of truth plus the production of justice and correctness can be best established by first eliminating white supremacy and replacing it with thought, speech, and action that uses truth in such a manner that justice and correctness is produced. This is what should be asked for. Accept what is granted. That means that since it is the white supremacists who are supreme over all non-white people of the known universe in all areas of activity, it is therefore correct for the victims of white supremacy to accept whatever the white supremacists choose to grant them that is of constructive value. The non-white people of the known universe have nothing that is not subject to the power of the white supremacists. Therefore, the non-white people should accept whatever the white supremacists give them that is of constructive value, even if what which is granted is less than what was asked for. As long as that which is granted is less than what is asked for, non-white people should continue to ask for what should be granted, namely, the revelation of truth and establishment of justice and correctness in all areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter-war. Compensate for the difference. This means that after the victims of white supremacy, non-white people have asked repeatedly for what should be given, and after they accept what is granted, they should study what was granted to see if it was the same as what was asked for. If what was granted was not the same as what was asked for, non-white people should then speak and act to compensate for the difference between what was asked for and what was granted. They can do this by thinking, speaking, and acting according to a code or behavior that promotes the revelation of truth and the use of truth in such a manner that justice and correctness is produced in all areas of activity. So let's say like this, you need $10. White people owe us $10. Okay, so do you beg white people for $10? Yes, begging is better than stealing. You do not want to steal from white people or else you will die or go to jail. Simple enough. I know it's hard, but don't steal. So you're gonna beg, 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 even if you got $1, $2, $3, $4. Sometimes it's how you do it, it's not how what you do, it's just how you do it. So if you get $2, you're gonna have to compensate for those $8. Okay, well, first, what did Neely see? You're gonna accept what is granted and compensate for the difference. You're gonna look. This $2 is not the $10 that's owed to me. Okay, so I'm gonna have to work for this $8 and do whatever I gotta do that is necessary and constructive for that $8, or just keep asking for it until you get that $8 extra. But as long as it's constructive, begging is always better than stealing because you're just asking for something. There's nothing wrong with asking for anything because you just might get it. That is the law of compensation. Okay, so compensate for the difference. This means that after the victims of white supremacy have asked repeatedly for what should be given, and after they accept what was granted, they should study what was granted to see if it's the same as what was asked for. If what was granted was not the same as what was asked for, non-white people should speak and act to compensate for the difference. By using a code. Okay, what is meant by compensation? Compensation is a law. Compensation is a law of nature. Compensation is a law of existence. Compensation is a law of mathematics. Compensation is a law of logic. Compensation is a law of laws. Every thought is a compensatory thought. Every word is a compensatory word. Every act is a compensatory act. Hope I'm on the right page. So everything you do is to compensate for something. To turn on this light is to compensate for the darkness that's in this room. You know, Neely Fullers says there has to be a reason for everything that everyone does or says. You know what I mean? Just like there's roots in the ground, you know, to grab the soil and nutrients for the growth of a plant. Just like there are veins or do stuff in our body to help nourish our body. It's sort of like that, as above, so below type stuff. You know, just clothes to keep us warm. Everything is compensating. Everything needs some type of compensation for us to exist in this society and in this universe. I'm going to continue reading. A person compensates for his lack of ability by relying on the ability of other persons or things. People compensate for their weakness by depending on strength of other people or things. One who tills the soil is compensated for the fruit of the soil. A microscope compensates for the limitations of the eye. So does a candle light. So does electric light. Light compensates for dark, and dark compensates for light. Heat compensates for cold, and cold compensates for heat. Sound compensates for silence, and silence compensates for sound. Existence compensates for non-existence, and non-existence compensates for existence. Death compensates for life, and life compensates for death. A flying machine compensates for a person's inability to fly. Writing is a compensatory process used to make up limitations in knowledge and our memory. A school is a compensatory process through which compensatory thoughts, words, or deeds are transferred between persons, plants, animals, etc. Religion is a compensatory system. Production of offspring is a compensatory act. Money is a compensatory tool. To eat is to compensate. To sleep is to compensate. To walk is to compensate. To talk is to compensate. To breathe is to compensate. To cry is to compensate. To ride is to compensate. To work is to compensate. To play is to compensate. There's no such thing as overcompensation. There's no such thing as undercompensation. There's no such thing as partial compensation. There's no such things as degrees of compensation. Compensation either is compensation or not compensation. The law of compensation is applicable to all that is known in that is applicable to all that is in the known universe. Notes: it is important to know and understand that the word compensation is at best a word that can be used to describe a compensatory condition that does exist and a compensatory desire for a condition that does not exist or has never existed. The use of the word compensation may or may not promote contradiction and confusion. For that reason, both the word and concept of compensation, like all other words and concepts, should be used to reveal truth and produce justice and correctness. Yeah, we rocking it. What is the law of compensation relate to color? All color, shades of color, and absence of color is neutral. There is no such thing as a right or wrong color. All known color, shades of color, or absence of color have a correct claim to existence. It is incorrect to hate or love color, shades of color, or absence of color. The action towards and or reaction to color, shades of color, or absence of color by people is always determined by the way people see themselves in relation to all people, places, things. To recognize and acknowledge the difference in color, shades, or color or absence of color in the appearance and or essence of people, animal, plants is correct. The treat Yeah, okay. To treat people, animals, plants, etc. unjustly and incorrectly by utilizing factors associated with differences of color, shades of color, and absence of color is to contribute to one of the major reasons for the absence of peace in the known universe. So it's good to acknowledge the differences that we have, but to shun each other for how light or how dark one another is jacked up and it's wrong. So what does the law of compensation relate to racism? Within a vastness of phenomenon known as space, there exists a phenomenon commonly known as the universe. Within the universe, there exist numerous bodies of mass materials of various sizes and shapes situated as various distances in their relationship to another. Within some of the mass materials exist things that have been commonly referred to as plant life and animal life. Some of these animal life is commonly referred to as human beings or people. None of these people are exactly alike in the way that they are. None of these people are exactly alike in the way that they think. None of these people are exactly alike in the way that they appear to other people. Because none of these people are exactly alike in the way that they are, in the way that they think, in the way that they appear to other people. Some of the people sometimes treat some of the other people in a different way. The difference in treatment between people is always based on difference in thinking that exists among people. The difference in the thinking of some people sometimes causes differences in the treatment of other people based on size, shape, height, weight, complexion, general state of being, etc. Oftentimes, some people are treated in an unjust manner by other people on the basis of color and on the basis of factor that some people regard as being associated with color or the idea of color. When people are treated unjustly, they are deprived and are denied access to something of value to which they are entitled. When this happens, it is incorrect to ask for what which they are entitled. When people ask for that to which they are entitled and are refused, they are often entitled to compensation. When people ask for compensation from others and are refused that compensation, they must first then acquire compensation for themselves through their own efforts. When people seek to acquire compensation for themselves through their own efforts, they must establish a compensatory system to use as a basic guide, thought, speech, and action. When people form and function through a compensation system, they should base that system on some form of compensatory code, which is especially designed to help serve the needs of people according to their status and their classification. Most people of the known universe classify themselves as being individual persons. Most people classify themselves and are classified by other people as being members of a group or members of a combination of interrelated and or associated groups on the basis of language, customs, religion, philosophy, economics, color, etc. Some people have classified themselves on a basis of non-color, white. These people call themselves white people and are Caucasian. Some people have classified themselves on a basis of color, non-white. These people are generally referred to as being black, brown, red, yellow, or collectively non-white people. Other people may or may not be, or may not have been classified by other labels. Those people who have classified themselves as white, Caucasian, or are members of the white race, or in need of compensation, or should be, or have been provided with compensatory codes, which are designed to serve the needs of white and or Caucasian people. Those people who have been classified as non-white and who are in need of compensation have been provided with compensatory codes which are designed to serve the needs of non-white people. Any other people who may be classified by any other labels and are in the need of compensation should be provided with compensatory codes, which are designed to serve the needs of those other people who are classified according to those other labels. The needs of all people are best served when their thought, speech, and action is promoted through the adoption of compensatory codes, or correct compensatory codes. No code, however, should be used to promote falsehood, non-justice, and incorrectness. All codes should help to produce justice and correctness. The best and correct thing that each person should be taught should be for the basic purpose of helping people to think, speak, or act effectively to replace a system of white supremacy racism with a system of justice, balance between people. What is taught and what is learned should be used to apply to everything that a person says and does in each area of activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counterwar. According to compensatory logic, the basic broad purpose for all study is to learn how to solve problems without making any. Should I continue? Okay. Long story short, the purpose for all study is to learn how to solve problems without making any. I'm gonna just stop right there and continue to go next time with the codification of this pen ain't working and the use of logic. Okay. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video and going through Neely Fullers of Code. You can get the book I Produce Justice. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember to stay on code. Please be constructive. It's hard sometimes because, like, with me as an example, like I get depressed sometimes just thinking about how like screwed the world is and how messed up everything is and how this world is ran overall by white supremacy or whatever the powers that be that be controlling all of us and stuff. And sometimes I believe that there's like no hope at all. And I can't think like that. I cannot think like that. I have to keep moving forward. If you see an anime or anything like that, it's corny, but I use like Attack on Titan, like Aaron. You just gotta keep moving forward. Like MLK, just like or Muhammad Ali, we all gotta keep moving forward. Like yourself, you gotta keep moving forward. We take these steps for a reason. We have to keep moving forward. This world is only gonna get worse unless we try to make it better. So please, let's just keep doing it. Let's stay on call. Let's do what we gotta do. And I appreciate everybody for watching this, taking your time to do everything. I appreciate all the love and support. God bless everyone. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Black Vader, aka I am Michael. Peace.